This past year, I was hired as an adjunct faculty member for an indigenous theological community called NAIITS. And what this community is, it is a band of scholars and activists and theologians who, for the last 20 years, have been working to advance the place of indigenous followers of Jesus and their theological education. So over these past 20 years, they have established relationships with various seminaries and colleges across the world. This is the first uh, consortium of indigenous learning that was the brainchild of indigenous scholars and is primarily run by indigenous people. And the significance of this community is that uh, for the history of indigenous followers of Jesus, they have had to compromise or set aside or have been told that their indigenous heritage is simply unchristian and have to, what we understand now, right, is to adopt a kind of settler colonizing form of white Christianity. And so what the spirit of this educational movement is to process and to think alongside of other indigenous missionaries and activists and theologians about what a distinctly contextualized way of following Jesus looks like that believes that the Creator has continually revealed the Creator self to indigenous people since the beginning. For me, what I find especially compelling is that these ministers and aspiring ministers as well, largely come from evangelical backgrounds. So they're processing a similar background that I've processed with. And, you'd be hard pressed to push at these people and say that they don't love Jesus. Much in the spirit of sanctuary, right? Like we are grappling with big cultural questions, but at the heart and the core of our answers and the processing of this is the way of Jesus. For me, this is about investigating and reclaiming a part of my own heritage as being a Choctaw citizen. I have been so focused on my own intellectual or really career drives that I haven't had much time to devote into this own kind of investigation and reclamation of my own heritage. And as I have been looking around to think, what is the next meaningful thing for me to do with my life? And looking and seeing that there's not a lot of resources for indigenous people who are interested in biblical studies.